The Picatrix, or the Latin version of the Arabic Ghāyat al-Ḥakīm, the goal of the sage, is a medieval grimoire of astral magic which was cobbled together from numerous aphorisms and fragments drawn from ancient metaphysical, natural philosophical, astrological, magical, and alchemical sources, some being traceable back to their original authors, such as Plato, Aristotle, Empedocles, etc., others being entirely pseudepigraphically attributed to such famous minds. The Picatrix is a compendious work, itself assembled by, quote, a wise philosopher, the noble and honored Picatrix, who compiled this tome from over 200 books of philosophy, which he, in the mouths of such ancient philosophers, or sages, sapientes, a great quantity of instructions for magical operations, replete with detailed astrological hours, guidelines for the creation of talismans, and lists of magical recipes which doubtless the likes of Plato and Pythagoras never discussed. At the end of the day, however, the thread which binds all of these disparate and mysterious fragments is the author's insistence that all of these men share one ultimate goal. That for all the grammar, the input, the logic, the processing, the rhetoric, the output, the arithmetic, the number, the geometry, the number in space, the astronomy, the number in time, and the music, the number in space and time. Despite all of this that they learned in this order, the ultimate telos, the end goal of the sage, is the ability to perform magical operations. But before digging into this, I want to give you some background information. The goal of the wise, the Ghāyat al-Ḥakīm, it was originally composed in Arabic from a variety of ancient and medieval sources, then translated somewhat clumsily from Arabic into Castilian Spanish, then from there rendered smoothly into Latin, in which form it was circulated through the courts of Europe and the libraries of Renaissance occultists. Now, if we want to talk about dates to give ourselves some context, the prologue written by the Spanish translator describes how the Christian king Alfonso the Wise was the first to have the original Arabic text translated into Castilian Spanish in the year of our Lord 1256. Between its covers, you'll find instructions on how to craft talismans, or magical images, dedicated to various specific tasks in accordance with the proper astrological conditions. You'll find descriptions of all manner of magical operations, recipes, invocations to stellar daimones, and so forth. Some of its content is very lofty, mathematical, and intellectual, while some of it is really down in the gutter, in the blood, guts, and grass, and smoke, and mutilated body parts. I should probably give a word about the author/compiler of this momentous tome. Hatim al-Qurtubi al-Zayat, who wrote circa 964. An Andalusian scholar and a botanist, that is, an Islamic occultist, who was described by his very contemporaries as a man of charms and talismans. Anyhow, as most of you probably already know, Al-Andalus in the mid-10th century was a remarkable place in terms of tolerance relative to other parts of the world at the time. Having large populations of Jews, Christians, and Muslims all working together on a great variety of subjects and in a great number of languages, This is what's classically called an era of intellectual ferment. Now, one of the greatest things about a cultural climate of more laissez-faire religious tolerance is that it inevitably extends tolerance to even fringe intellectual minority groups. In this particular case, I'm talking about occultists and ceremonial magicians, these so-called men of many charms and talismans. Know that these philosophers concealed this knowledge and were bound not to divulge it to mankind. More precisely, they hid this knowledge on account of its powers and discussed it through shrouded words, images, and symbols, as if discussing some other sciences.